Hey guys, I just wanted to start the video off with a little insert to go over what you're about to see. It's the Founders Edition. I do apologize for some of the cuts. I was trying to do two cameras at the same time, and first time trying to really kind of do that. I also had to go through a couple times doing the card to get it right, so I didn't go through all those. I just went through what actually worked. And then I put chapters in because it is about an hour-long video. I do apologize, but it is the entire process of breaking down the 3080 Founders Edition, pulling all the tape off, all thermal pads to paste, putting it all back on, and explaining which ones to use and things like that, and how to go do it. I also did, you'll see in the video, and when you flip over the back and you put the springs on for the die to push down, I put thermal pads on those 4 chips as well, and that really did seem to help. I had a couple suggestions on that. So if you guys see anything else that you'd like to see, just leave a comment. I do apologize again. Apologize it was long, but I wanted to make sure I got everything in there. And I know the camera work is not the best, but I'm trying. So hopefully as I do more, I'll get better results. Have a great day, and it is Palm Sunday, so anybody that's celebrating that, happy Welcome to the Viper Miner channel. Today we got our RTX 3080 Founders Edition that's been overheating. Now I went ahead and actually tried changing up the pads on it and used some RX or MX4 thermal paste, and it actually got worse. So what I found online is that there's 2 versions of this. There's a early 2021 and a late 2021. And the later 2021 takes thinner pads. So, and Nvidia's recommending these. So I got the 1.5 mil, which is what the later half is, and the 2.0 is what the first half was. So we're going to take this apart. Got our trusty iFix kit here. Bring it over here. First step is to take off the GPU hanger. Now I did, if you can see, I already took off from last time. I just didn't put them back on. The holes for the screws here, and then the holder here. They're magnetic. You take them off with a piece of tape, and when I put them back on, I will show you how to do that. Basically, just rip a piece of tape off. It can be Scotch tape or anything, painter's tape, and you just go like that, and they literally come right on off. You just use a little pry bar from the iFixit toolkit, and you're set. You're also going to need a pair of needle nose angle if you have them, and as well as needle nose to get some of the ribbon cables off. Okay, and I apologize if it looks like I'm dying of heat in here. I am. It is hot in here because my room is actually, there's a mining rig down in here. It's 92 in Florida this evening. Well, it's actually cooled off a little bit, but it was 92. And it's just hot. So, now that we got that off, we're going to need a torque, and I believe it's this one. I believe I got to use a torque 4 to get these little screws off. Might be a torque 5. Yep, torque 5. So there's 4 of these. Gotta love iFixit. Everything's magnetized. And we can come over here and grab the 4. If you can see these, the 4 screws on the IO, and that is a different size torque. It's the next size up. So this was a T5 to take off the 4 screws. Maybe this was the same size. I've taken this apart numerous times already, and you think I know these by heart. Well, 2 slots up. So this is a T7. So I'm just going to take these 4 out. And then what I like to do is I leave the bit just above the screws so I know which bit I'm going to be using. So the IO bracket just comes on off. We'll put that aside. And I found this is the best way to, whoops, sorry, this way. With the PCI facing down on you. Grab your scraper and you're going to kind of pry open. Oh wait, and before I pry, because I didn't pry too hard, there are 4 more screws here. These are Phillips. And I believe it's, they'll give you a size, but it's number 6 on the pad here. You're going to take these off, and there's 4 of these as well. Now my understanding is somewhere about mid-year, Nvidia changed something in here to where you have to use thinner pads. Otherwise, the heatsink doesn't get close enough to the die. And I think that is my problem. At least that's what I'm hoping my problem. Because when I changed everything, it got worse. Which is not good. Alright, so I am going to, oh, and there's these little grommets, I don't know if you can see this, that go in here, and they just fall right on out, and it's important that you keep them. So they are here and here, but I'm going to keep my, it looks like my, I'm going to replace that heat pad, or pad at the end here. Alright, so there's 3 ribbon cables that we got to take out. Let's see if you can see those. There's one here, and one here. Now, this is the most difficult, I think, because it is a very weird connector. It's not a normal ribbon connector. So you're going to slide this once, two clicks, and then I like, no, wrong one, that's got the hook. I like the little pointy thing with the flat, and you're going to try to work this out. And what I find is it actually lifts up and out. So it's not a normal connector. And you want to be careful that you don't break a wire, because then you're kind of SOL. And you gotta get this just right. You would think the number of times I've taken this out, that's like 3 times now, that this would be loose. And there you go, it pops right on out. And then this is the easier ribbon cable to get. Now there's a gate on the 2 ribbon cables that you need to flip up. So there's, if you notice, the gate or the connector is beige and the gate is black. And it flips up towards the ribbon cable. So you're going to take this and just flip it up, gentle. And then you're just going to try to work this ribbon cable right on out. And you don't want to put the tweezers on the ribbon cable itself. There's a little connector there. That's what you really want to grab onto. And this other one has the same gate. So just pop that up. And here's where you need the angle ones. Slide in. These are very sharp and thin, so be careful you don't pierce the ribbon. And there's not a lot of ribbon to work with there. Nope. Is it the same one as this? Yes. All right. Now, very important, very spring tension loaded. All right, so this actually, when it's off, comes up, curls up. So this has got a lot of tension on it. So you want to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and loosen a little bit each time. And when this thing pops off, you'll see what I'm talking about. Maybe there's one smaller. That was the, I don't know. Yep, there we go. So we're going to go a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit here, and you're just going to keep that up until your springs are no longer have tension on it. You can start seeing how the springs are starting to pop up a little bit. The last, oh, see, it already came off. So there's one. The last thing you want to do is put that much uneven pressure on the die. You will snap the die. Notice how curved up those are. So I mean, that really bends down. Now we should be able to get the rest of this off. I found if you work this corner here, and then this corner underneath the PCI slot, and then kind of slide it back on around. Get that up and out, and there you go. All right. Now, let's clean the PVC. Whoops. Die here first. Fantastic. I get them out of Costco. And then I get all this thermal paste off. Good to keep it off your fingers too. And then what I find is I use Dawn. I squeeze some Dawn, then I don't let it sit. And then next time my wife does shop towels, and yes, my wife does the laundry. I've offered many times, and she refuses to have me do the laundry. Something about I would ruin all her clothes. So this is denature alcohol, or rubbing alcohol. Get it out of Walgreens, Costco, anywhere. We're going to clean up this die. Now, while you use anything like this, you can even use a paper towel instead of the shop towel. This makes sure there's no paper left because you will hold the void, and that's creates a hot spot. And these Founders Editions of hotspots are detrimental, and they are just so easy to create. And you can tell I really gooped this up because I really didn't want the card just sitting around. It was going to take almost a week for the new thermal pads to come in because for whatever reason Amazon kept pushing them out. So much for Prime. Now you notice I'm pretty liberal with the alcohol. Alcohol evaporates fairly fast. It's flammable but not conductive, so I'm not worried about that as long as the dye is dry by the time we put it back, which it will be. We will dry it off. And you want to be very thorough here. All right, I'll take one of these cotton balls. Clearly there's some thermal paste here. I'm going to clean up the chips as well from the all right, so we are going to take off these memory pads. And we squish these memory pads so hard they actually separated, which might be actually the junction memory actually was, it went from 104 to 88. I think the highest the heat of the day, it might have went to 90 for a very short period of time, but it was very much an increased improvement in cooling. Can't tell if that's shadow. That's just shadow. Okay. Now, on here, there should be a date code. 11/3/2021. So this is a later model, which requires the smaller, thinner pads, which we're going to do. So these, what a shame because we used a lot. We're going to get rid of. All right. So we're going to clean the surface as well, including the heat sink here. And I'm going to see if I can get a lot of this goop up with this already soaked. Oh, it looks like I forgot a couple pads. The gray just blends right in. Again, you can use a paper towel here. Actually, a paper towel here would be pretty easy to make sure that you don't get anything in the way there, because it's a nice smooth surface right here. Clean up this heat sink a little bit. All right. Now, I had a friend of mine tell me, don't put the pads there first, put them on the chips first. He does a lot of computer repair work, so I'm going to take his advice and see if that makes a little bit easier difference for us. At least it makes it a little bit easier to know what we're going to be playing with here instead of trying to guess where on the pad it's going to, or on the heat sink it's going to go. All right, so we are going to go with the 1.5. Okay, so what I am going to try to do here is mark this as best as I can. I know this is pretty tedious, but they need to be done. While I'm sitting here doing this, I will talk about some of the stuff I am looking at doing. And I didn't bring a ruler down, but we'll use this as our straight edge. I don't use scissors to cut these. Razor blade, X-Acto knife. I used to use my pocket knife because normally my pocket knife is very sharp, but it just gums up the pocket knife way too much. All right, so anyway, I did do a video about. I actually did a video up first on this, and unfortunately the camera must have moved, and all you got was table and me talking. That looks good. So I got that one there. So I'm gonna, before I start peeling these, I'm actually gonna cut these. What's the one I cut? No, sorry. All right, so then we're gonna basically do the same size again for this side. But anyway, so I did do a video about what am I gonna do compost 8.2 or 2.0, and I did say I was going to look at NiceHash. I am looking at NiceHash. There's no doubt. But the thing that's interested in me, I don't know if you guys all noticed, but ETC seems to be stepping up to the and I could do a video later on. But they have, the developers actually put out a welcome to ETC, what to expect. Talks about what their plans are, how to mine ETC. It was pretty interesting, and I've noticed what did I do with my knife? There we go. I noticed there's a lot more not dev, but like interest in doing NFTs to it. I mean, if you even notice it, like a lot of them are now saying classic ETC and everything. So, which is very encouraging, I think. All right, so it looks like it's still like this. So we're going to save this over here. Right there. I need a straight edge this time again. Let's see, where's my mark? There's my mark. But, oops, cut the package. like I said in my other video too, is I do have an old rig of 580s 4 gig that you really can't do anything with for ETH on those. So I decided to start mining solo on those to see if I can get a block. I actually got a block the other day, which I was very happy. My luck is very high, so I don't think my luck is going to keep going. But at least I got one, so I felt very excited about that. And then I plan to actually do a couple more rigs. I'm looking for. I don't want to spend. I don't want to scalp. I don't want to buy any scalping prices. I want something that's going to be close to the MSRP, because you never know, right, what things are going to be. So I do plan on. I did actually pick up a 16 Super for $350, and then I saw on Twitter that Son of Tech got one for $320, which kind of bummed me out. He beat me by $30, which I'm pretty sure he's got a micro center near him, and I do not. There's no micro center here. I think I got to go to North Carolina to get to the nearest micro center. There might be one in Georgia, but I got mine from Best Buy, and it was really nice. Got to pick it up, got to take it home. So we'll have a video putting that in the rig. That will complete my 6 gig rig. It'll be a 6 gig rig with all 1660 Supers. And I got real lucky with one of the Silicon Llama. I got a Hendrix, however you say that memory type. And it gets 34. And I haven't BIOS. I have never BIOS modded anything. Too chicken. So unless somebody wants to like sit down and actually step by step with me and hold my hand, I'm not going to do that. But I get 32.4, 32.2 on the other ones, but I do have one that's doing 34, which is really I'm really happy about that. But it'll be a pure 1660 rig. That's all the memory, right? Boom, boom. That's a little short there, right? Yeah, I don't know if I like that. Is that? And chip is just a tad short. Let's see if this will stay. But it's got 6 cards on it now. It's got a 68 XT on it right now. So I'm going to take the 68 XT, put that with the other AMD cards, and then I actually think maybe, isn't it AMD cards do better with, do mine flex better? So maybe we'll, add that to the flex rig. All right, make sure you get all the plastic off. I did that before. It's very frustrating when you put everything back together and then you realize that you only had one side of the plastic. And this thermal tape is very thin, very easily wrecked. Oh. All right. So the thermal pads are now on the GPU. And then we are going to use our Thermal Grizzly. I decided that I got a tube of that while I ordered these. Just for a fact, I think this is a little bit better than the MX series. So, and I'm not going to leave it to chance that. And a little tip, always pull back on the syringe when you do these. It gives you, it doesn't leak as much. Then I learned when I was a paramedic. All right, so I'm going to spread this with my little guitar pick thing that the iFix got. And before I actually had an iFix kit, I used to use my guitar pick. But I want to spread this to the very edge on all four sides. And I want it thick because I need to have that connection between here and here. Because it's very, very finicky, and this card gets very, very hot. So we are going to spread. Plastic. And I do like, so that's like my gross, you know, did a little bit, and then I gotta take some of this off. Get the corners. You know, I'm no artist, but my goal is to make sure that this is totally covered. And then now any kind of strings here will push off. Now what I like about the Grizzly versus the MX, and I'm going to put a little more on here. I need a place to put this or what right here. Is so the MX5, which has got great connectivity for heat for a compound, and I use it for a lot of things, but it's very, the thermal velocity of it is very thin, so it spreads very easily. The MX4 is a little bit thicker, kind of similar to what was originally on here. But the Thermal Grizzly I have a lot better results with, and you can see how it is much thicker. So basically, I don't want to see any piece of this die if it is shiny and showing back at me, or I can see through the paste to the die, it's not enough. I don't know if there's the corners here don't have enough ends. I'm going to go in here, take it on the tip here, and actually, to be honest with you, these are a tad big when it starts coming into these. I wish iFixit gave you two different sizes, like a half a size of this, because it would be so much better. That's actually, and like the size of the guitar pick is actually very, very good. All right, so now we're going to clean up our paste here. And then I'm going to do something I don't normally do. Is I am going to put dot there, a small dot here, here, and kind of like an X. And let that kind of spread in then to the card as well. Now, on the heatsink, a couple things to look out for. There's a pin here, in here, that you gotta make sure lines up with the board. There's this power connector here for the fans, I believe. And then you gotta make sure your ribbon cables are sticking up out of the way. So this way you put those on after. All right. So ribbon cable, ribbon cable. So guide hold to that. Oh, gotta get that ribbon cable out of the way. The ribbon cable here. And then we got a ribbon cable over here. All right, so ribbon cable, ribbon cable, ribbon cable. It's nice because the guide holds actually make it to where there's one here and one right here. Screws line up perfect. Now, what I found is a nice little trick. Get my iron fix in here, and I'm going to take, I'm going to take this 4 screws, and I'm not going to tighten them all the way down. I am just going to get them just above the surface of the card. And actually, before I even do that, we got to make sure we got our I/O bracket in here. And it slides right underneath. We need to do this a little bit. Got this the right way, yep. I don't want to mess up the paste. I can feel it grabbing already. I just go like that. I think that's what we're going to do. I don't remember if that actually goes inside or outside, and I've had it both ways, and it didn't seem to matter. Like I said, I've taken this card apart several times already. So we're going to grab another one of these screws. We're going to come over here to this corner, just down to the surface. And then we're going to do this corner here. Oh, me and my big floppy fingers here. All right, there we go. And then we go up. Where'd my other screw go? 1, 2, 3, 4. Going blind. Am I missing it? Where did I put the screw? No, it's right here. Missing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's tension. I didn't drop a screw. All right. Problem for later time. All right. So the reason I put the screws in a little bit is to hold the board from sliding when we put the ribbon cables back in. So make sure the gate is up. Gently slide the ribbon cable in there. Okay, so I did notice this last time. Sometimes, where's my little, there we go. Close the gate, reopen the gate because it partially closes and it's so small you can't see it. There we go. Right in there. And then make sure that gate's closed. It is. And then a little trick I found out too is put your finger on that ribbon cable gently and then close the gate to make sure it's got the proper tension there. Oh, see, we did slide a little bit. So my cable here did go back under. There we go. All right, so this one is going to get seated from the top and then down. And then you're going to take your pointy thing here and you're going to slide. And you should feel 2 clicks. Uh-oh. My cable's down. See, this is why I don't like putting this all the way down. Pin and a pin. Alright, so now needle nose, because these are just too fat to get in there. And it looks like our gate is down, so we're going to put our gate back up. And I need a better angle. I just dropped the tool, but I'll get that back in a second. This is not a fun cable to get in there because you can't bend it too much, otherwise you will snap the ribbon. It doesn't give you a lot of room to work with it. So almost got to bring it all the way back to the housing and then down. Just kind of like that. Make sure that gate's open. Last time it took me a while to get this back in, but patience. And if you get frustrated, go get a cup of coffee, get a glass of water, something. Because you ruin this cable, it's game over for the card. All right. Let's get this on here. Don't ask me where, but the screw showed up again. Must have been in a bad part of the light where I couldn't see it. Black screws against black plastic. and aging eyes. Not a good combo. Okay, so now I'm going to just kind of surface tension. Oh no, still missing a screw. One, two, three, four. Didn't fall off here. Alright. Look like I do have one extra screw up in the farm, so I will put that on there before I put this back together. Now, looks like this thermal pads are shot. Where's I dropped my scraper, but we'll just use my one. So we're going to take these off. And then we're going to clean this backing so we got good adhesion to the thermal pads. Now, my understanding is you can actually go up to 3 on the backing and not have a problem, because the pressure is going to be this way, downward. That's where, if the pads are too thick, she can't get a good connection to the heatsink, with the die, and that becomes the problem. So I'm going to try to get all the old thermal pad stuff out. Make sure it's dry. Make sure there's no cotton ball left. So I don't want that. That looks good. Alright, so we do have 2.0. Yeah, it looks like that's... We're going to cut this in half this way. It's not too small a piece. It doesn't quite cover all the chips. I use this as my straight edge. Must have moved at the very last minute, but that's okay, actually. Alright, come on, thermal paste, get our, whatever that is, that's the pad. Alright, so if I go here to here, does that cover the chips all the way? All but that one chip there. Alright. Perfect. That's good. Excellent. All right. I'll make sure you try to get all the surface areas without chip. We're a little bit longer than we need to be. Now I know some of you are going to say, oh, you're cutting on the card. Well, no, actually I'm just cutting the plastic here so I know where to cut. Put that right there. Grab that chip. Grab this plastic off. Grab this plastic off. Couple chips there. 1, 2. All right, I just had the razor blade. There we go. So yes, I know that's much bigger than I need, but it is the back side. Thermal pads are not conductive, so I'm not worried about that. Now, I did see somebody suggest putting pads on there as well. And since that's right above the die, I'm actually going to try that. You get 1 here and then 2 here that you got to put pads on. So I think I will, since I have extra thermal pad, I am going to well, that's got static clean. Give that a try, see if that helps. All right, so now the back can go on. Oh wait, before we do that, we got a couple more screws we got to put in. We need our Phillips. And we actually got to put the die plate in. There's 1. 2. 3. And number 4. And then we'll put on the 4 screws to the I/O. Sorry if my voice is a little scratchy and froggy. The pollen out here in Florida is just brutal. And one more for the I/O here. All right, so now we got to put the spring on. So the spring has this metal protection on here just to make sure it doesn't have any issues, and it does go on a certain way. So there's an upside down and then the slide. There's like a little groove in here. I don't know how to describe it. It's very subtle, and once this is in here, it like clicks in the spot, like not click in a solid sense, but you know it's in the right spot. All right, and just how we took it off, we're going to do the star pattern again because we're going to put extreme amount of pressure on this. So I just want to catch those so they don't pop off. See how much tension's already here? So I'm going to pull that, and then we're going to go here. And we're going to make sure our pad doesn't get in the way here. All right. I'll turn each. When you are screwing this in, do watch. There is a set of resistors right here that just, no, I guess not resistors, but IC chips. All right, so now all 4 screws are down to the surface and what I would call finger tight, right? So now we're going to go tight, tight, and from what I could tell from these screws, you can't, I mean, yes, you can over tight anything, but you're not going to go through there because there is a lip on the screw that won't allow you to go any further down. All right, so we're good there. Now, the thing that we have to go do is, I put those screws in, remember, so I didn't have to worry about the ribbon cable, right? But I remember I didn't tighten these all the way down. This one. So we're going to need to take these off again. I know it seems like a little redundant work, but when I didn't do that, I had problems with shifting of the heatsink and the card itself. Notice these are not tight. They're just in there. Now that these 4 are tight, this is not going to shift, and I don't have to worry about these cables. Oh. And I did make the same mistake I made last time. For some reason, I think that these 4 screws hold in this fan. Well, they do, but they also hold the cover. I know this seems backwards to you, and I'm probably getting a lot of people, oh, you don't have to do that. It's overkill. That's this. It's the way I like to do it. It's the way I've had a lot of problems trying to get the seat with the ribbon cable before. And I'll tell you what, putting those screws in, just finger tighten those in, was the best thing I ever did. Because I've taken this card apart. This will be the 5th time I've taken this card apart. So, and now, because we're actually going to have pressure on this because the pads are there, we're going to do 2 corners here. I'm going to switch my tool. Is it this one? Should really just... Oh, I don't think it's that one. That's too big. It's got to be this tool. Oh no, it's this one here. I left it out on purpose, but not in the spot where I can see. So we're going to go in this corner now. Come on. Just finger tight that down. And then this corner. And then we're going to switch our tool to this again, and we're going to do the it's all starting to look the same to me. Start. That's a torque. That's a torque. What happened to the star? Alright. Let's put this over here. Again, just finger tighten these. So this one came back. Did I not? There's a star one that went missing. Last time I had a screw went missing, it was actually inside here where the magnet's at, and I don't see it there. Alright, so let's check one other place. Oh, and I already see it. I got caught with the, oh, actually that's not a good thing. That's the bumper. Oh, it's got caught in here. All right, we'll put that out later. I will run the GPU. I really want to see if this is going to fix my heating problem. All right, and let me get the little magnets. So this just goes on here. There's a little lip on the corner here and here. Goes in like this. Pop that in. To take it out, you just pry it up. It's just magnets. Same with these. So when you have one of these, when you're starting out, before you take the card apart, you're just going to take your tape, press down, and lift up, and it comes right out. And there is no, they're all four the same, so it should not matter which one to go into. However, I have one that, and it must be this one, only likes it over here, and it's got nothing to do with it. I think it's got to do with the magnet. There we go. And then typically, as if you watched before, I usually blow out my fans and my heat sink, but since I literally just had this apart 2 days ago, I'm just going to make sure there's no thermal compound on anything. And then I always like to give it a nice thorough clean, the PCIe. And that's it, guys. So I'm going to go put this in the system and go see what it says in HiveOS for temperatures. And hopefully much improved. All right, so now moment of truth to see if our efforts was good, and it is. Here's the Founders Edition of the GPU 0. It's 101.5 mega hash. It's actually getting a little bit better mega hash because I think these are thermal throttle every so often. It's actually not that warm right now in Florida, and so it's 106 is the mem temp, which is below the 110, which is good, but I do get up around 109. So I'm going to have to redo the two other Founders Editions, and this one is an LHR MSI 380 that I'm gonna have to redo. I'll probably redo these two, one of these two next, and then go ahead and do that. If you want to see a video on me taking this one apart, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I might just paste some in and give you guys the results. I know it takes an hour. I do apologize. The video was so long, but I wanted to make sure everything was in there. I didn't want to speed up the video for everything. And then, you know, you missed something that might have been crucial. And I'm trying to work on better camera work, but I am learning, and actually I'm going to be taking a class. So hopefully things will get better. You guys have a blessed and profitable day, and see you on the next video.